Hello, everyone. Welcome to PPC Roundtable episode 3. And in this episode, we are going to walk around and tell you if you are a seller and you want to audit your account, what are the things or what are the necessary reports you need to create the summary or the main points that you need to look at in order to understand how your account is performing. We're going to look over one account that we audited recently, and we're going to show you how we go over and audit an account. What are the reports necessary to create this kind of report? And we're going to show you and share everything with you today. So let me welcome today Sandeep, our co-founder, and Afan, our PPC director, who will be joining this call and explaining all the steps with you. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Hey, hello everyone.
Hi guys.
Yeah. A quick overview. I think we can share the screen right now. Afan, will you please share the screen? Then we can go over the audit once.
So, auditing is a very important and integral aspect of an account, which should be done on a regular basis. Most of the time, the brands miss on this where they don't audit their account. If not on a monthly basis, then at least on a quarterly basis, an account should be audited to understand how it is going and also to identify the nitty gritties of the account, which we are going to talk about just now, the way we do it.
Yeah. Afan, can you increase the zoom a little bit if possible?
Is it okay
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's just get into the report. So there are around one, two, three, four, five, six different tabs in which we have tried to cover all the aspects of an Amazon business, right? What a seller needs to look at when he's auditing the account, what a seller needs to identify, which KPIs to look at, which KPIs not to look at, right? And all of that stuff that a seller has, to look at if he's doing an audit, right? Doesn't matter if it's a services provider, doesn't matter if it's a seller, right? We are doing it for seller's perspective. So what uh, what the seller can achieve by just uh, having a look at this session, the seller will be enabled to just conduct an audit for his brand or her brand themselves, and they will know what uh, parts they're lacking at. They will know at which aspects they are going good, and the opportunities, the threats. They can do a SWOT analysis as well. So I think it's a great report for the sellers as well. Let's just get into the report. uh, the first report is ASIN level analysis, right? So right now this report is on a parent ASIN level, it's not on child ASINs level. Let me just uh,
So the report that we are showing you right now is of account who is doing close to 4 CR a month on Amazon India, and the ad spend that we're looking at is close to 30 to 40 lakhs a month. So that is what we are going to see today. And if you're interested in similar kind of videos, make sure you comment below PPC Roundtable, and we will make sure we will bring that episode every week. Yeah, fine.
right. So you're looking at so right now in this report we have around 60 parent asins, right? So this report, data in this report comes through two different kinds of Amazon reports, right? So the first six columns you are looking at, these come from the business reports. The next column is a calculation, and the next four columns, they come through the PPC reports, right? And after these PPC reports columns, the next nine columns, they are basically just the calculations, right, that we need to look at. So the point is, once we import the data, what we do with that data is more important, right, than just importing the data and then looking at the data, right? Because the reports that you import, they are disorganized. We cannot take any actionable insights out of those reports until we add some more columns, until we make some more calculations, and just get what we really want. Let me just show you how. Uh, Obviously there are a lot of columns, a lot of information available in the business reports, but we don't need all of that data. It's up to you if you want that data in your sheet, if you want B2B sessions, if you want mobile sessions, if you want B2B page totals, total page totals and all that, you can include that, right? But that's just unnecessary at a basic level, at a fundamental level, right? To conduct an account audit, right? So you can include sessions, you can include sales, orders, units. I have included B2B orders, I have included B2B sales, right? But I mean, that's not a rule of thumb. You can exclude these two columns as well if you're not really interested in the B2B sales or B2B orders, right? Right now, if you look at, let me just tell you, the total orders were 35,000, and out of those 35,000, 1,000 orders were from B2B. You can say that the ratio of B2B orders to the total orders is not that great, but still I would like these orders to be added because this brand is focusing on its B2B perspective. So these were the columns that we have imported from business reports, and let's talk about these four columns that we have imported from PPC reports, right? So we have PPC sales here, we have PPC orders, PPC spend, and PPC clicks. Nothing else. We don't really need anything else to conduct the audit. uh, yes, we can include impressions. Yes, we can include new to brand orders. I mean, we can include anything we want to, right? But that is just additional. These four columns are the fundamentals, right? These are the basics that you have to look at if you are conducting an audit of your brand, right? uh, the first calculation column is average order value, right? What it tells us, it basically tells us what my average order value is for a particular uh, parent asset, right? If you look at this one, the formula is you just have to divide total sales by total orders. I'm not dividing total sales by number of units. That would be my selling price, right? So this is our first sheet, that is ASIN level analysis. It has around the total number of columns are around 20, and we get the information from business reports. The first six columns are for business reports, and these four columns are for the PPC reports, right? Apart from these columns, every other column is just calculation, and I believe calculation is more important than just importing the data and looking at it, because calculation tells us what actionable insights there are for us to take away, right, and to make that decision, right? So you can see that we have sessions, sales, orders, units, B2B orders, B2B sales. You can add any column in this sheet, any additional column that you want to, but these columns are the basics and you must have these columns at least, right? The next column is average order value. It tells us what average order value is per parent ASIN. Uh, if we go forward, we have ACOS, we have TACOS. Uh, what ACOS tells, ACOS is from the PPC perspective. You can see that, I mean, what ACOS we are getting for a particular date range for each parent ASIN, right? We can have a look at the TACOS of each parent ASIN. That is, I believe, more important than the ACOS. It basically, why is it more important? It just tells you that what percentage of your total profits you are putting into the advertisement, right? So the tacos should be, I mean, ideally the overall tacos of the account should be under 10% or 8%, but it's very hard to achieve that figures, right? It's for some brands, it's always around 13 to 15% or even 18%. So if average profit margin of your brand is around 30%, you would be giving 18% away if your tacos is 18%. So keep this as low as possible to just achieve good profits, right? Good net profits. The next thing is PPC conversion rate, right? it tells you we can compare our PPC conversion rate with overall conversion rate as well, right? So the PPC conversion rate is just for PPC, right? So it's telling me that after every 4 clicks, I'm generating an order. But if we look at our overall conversion rate, it's telling me that after every 10 clicks, I'm generating an order, right? Uh, so the first one, I will want to make the correction. It's after every 5 clicks, I'm getting an order. So you can compare these reports, these two columns as well, because both of them are interlinked. I mean, it's quite normal. PPC conversion rate is always greater than overall conversion rate, right? Because in PPC you are doing very precise and very to the point targeting, right? So the next thing we have CPA. The next important thing is CPA, cost per acquisition. uh, it's telling me how much money do I have to spend to acquire an order, right? To acquire a customer. So this is important as well. Uh, the point is keep the CPA as low as possible, uh, right? So the lower the CPA means the lower the ACOS, right? And the lower TACOS. It's so that's how it goes. The next three columns are interlinked. The first one is sales share, the next one is spend share, and then there is a graph between the ratio of sales share and spend share. So uh, what we do, we compare sales share versus the spend share, right? If you look at this graph, at the sales share of the first in the first row number 4, you will see that our sales share is 26.9%, our spend share is just 21%, right? So we are doing pretty good for this session. uh, Meanwhile, if you look at sales share this. Yeah. So if we look at row number 13, our sales share is 2.6% and our spend share is 5.3% of the total account, right? It's telling me that we are overspending on this ASIN, on this parent ASIN, and we clearly are not generating, that amount of money. So instead of comparing both of these cells, you can just look at this sparkline graph, right? So if this graph is declined, it means that you are doing good with that parent ASIN. If this graph is in the inclined form, it means that you need to make some modifications to that parent ASIN, right? You either need to control your spend, or you either need to increase the sales for that parent. So that was our first sheet. Guys, do let me know
Yeah, I
if you have
think
any.
here if the graph is inclined, that means going up. That means we are spending less. That means our spend share is less, but the sales share is high. Am I right?
No, no,
No,
it's
the
the other way
graph is
around.
declined.
It's
Okay.
the other way around. The spend share, if it is less, then it's going to be declined, which is good depending on the perspective, depending on what is our objective is. Let's say, for example, row number 13 that we were talking about, there we did notice
Mhm.
that the spend share is more, okay, almost twice as compared to the sales share. However, it can also depend on what is the stage of that particular product. Is it in the launch phase? Is it in its scale phase, growth phase, decline phase? So it also depends on that, and based on that we should take the call to reduce the spend. If let's say I launch this product and I want to push it, and then this is very it's likely that it is going to have a spend share more than its sales share. So it depends on the objective of the product as well.
Yeah, I think in this particular sheet as well, you can probably check which A sign is converting how much in terms of your PPC and what is the TACUs of that. So you are getting the overall A sign level view in this sheet. And also you
Yeah.
can compare how much spend share it is taking versus the sales share as well. So it might happen that your A sign, which may be matured, but you are spending very less on it, whereas it is taking 20% of the sales share, maybe. Let's take for example. So here you can see this sheet and you can go and increase or just try to find out in which campaigns those ASINs are being targeted and try to increase the budget so that your sales share may increase a little bit more because now you are taking very less percent of spend, but your sales share is high. It also can give you idea about maybe there are ASINs which are spending a lot but maybe contributing very less to the sales. So here, obviously, we can go and use the 80-20 principle and find out the top performers and also negate the uh, ASIs which are not performing but spending a lot.
Yeah.
And
Also,
to add,
mhm.
yeah, go ahead, Afan.
Yeah, so I was just about to tell you that in row number 9, you can look it for yourself as well. The sale share is 4%, the spend share is 7%. So we are spending more than what uh, we are generating, right? I mean, it's not like we are spending more than what we are generating. It's like the spend share on this particular parent SN is greater as compared to other SNs, but the contribution of this parent SN towards our overall account, is not up to the mark as it should be, right? So if the spend share is around 7%, the sale share should be around 5 to 6% or 7% as well. I understand that if a particular if the spend share is less and the sale share is more on a particular SN, it I mean, it should be balancing out itself in some other parent SNs, but the main thing is try to keep this equal, right? At least equal, if not great, right? Because if you improve this in row number 9, the sale share and spend share of the first ASIN in row number 4, it will automatically balance out. So just try to look out for the parent essence which have an inclined graph, which do not have a balanced sale share and spend share, and try to work on
Yeah.
those, right? If you look at, I mean, if you just look at the ASIN in row number 4, you will see that we have spent around 200,000 in terms of PPC spend, and it has almost, I mean, the tacos on this session is more than even more than 15%, right? So that is alarming with a high ACOS as compared to the overall ACOS of this account, right? So yeah, this report tells us which parents you need to work on, which parents there are opportunities, for which parents there are threats.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So two things I'd like to bring. One is the PPC data that we have is sponsored product and display, because we Amazon doesn't provide us the sponsored brand level data. So whatever you see for ACOS that we are trying to calculate, it is dependent on sponsored product and display, which is most likely about 90% of the data. In some case, even better, because sponsored brand usually 5-10% spend we allocate. The other thing, two more columns that I think are of interest. One is the average order value. As a brand owner, I'd be more interested in average order value being higher. So here I can look at product levels, that what is my average order value out of each product, and then see if there is a way for me to increase this. Because if I'm able to get a 10% increase my average order value, it is like a 10% increase in my top line. So it is going to help me a lot. Second column of interest is the CPA, cost per acquisition. For repeat purchase brands like supplements and all, it is likely to be higher. For tea, anything which is like consumable, the CPA is likely to be higher. So just in case, if you are a brand which sells something which is of that category, then be prepared to see this as a higher number. Otherwise, it's likely to be not that high. If it is, then it is not something, maybe you're too aggressive with your PPC, or your listing is not optimized, reviews, creative, something is a challenge if you are not of that kind of a category.
Yep.
Definitely. Let's move on to the second sheet. Yeah.
Right. So the next sheet is totally based on our PPC analysis. So what is the purpose of this sheet? So we will be looking at what amount of money we are spending on each match type in sponsored product. What amount of money are we spending on each ad type and sponsored display, and each match type in sponsored brands, right? So the what takeaways we can have from this report is the sales share and spend share of each match type, right? The ACOS, the conversion rate, the CPA of each match type. Let me just convert them into percentages. Some of ACOS as well. All right. So what our spend is, what our sales are. and the spend share and the sale share, the CPA. Yep. Okay. The CPA of each ad type, the conversion rate of each ad type, and the ACOS, right? So here, I mean, you have to look out for any discrepancies in, first of all, the spend share and the sale share. The spend share should be even uh, around all of these match types. If not even, the spend share should be more focused towards the sponsored product types, and less towards the sponsored display and sponsored brands, right? So in this case, you will see that we are having a 33% ad spend in exact sponsored product exact, with a 32% sales share, right? Same is the case with sponsored brands. We're spending around, I mean, 21% of our total account spend on sponsored brand exact match, and we are just getting 14% in the sales share, right? That is very alarming. So the first two red flags in our advertisement are the spend on exact match, right? If a brand is of that scale that it's, I mean, generating this amount of sales, monthly sales, right? So we are doing around 31 million in monthly sales, as monthly sales, and if the brand is of that level, and we are looking at our spend share on exact match is 33% in sponsored product, and the spend share on sponsored exact match in sponsored brand is around 20%, 21%. So it totals at 54%, right? 55%. So 55% of our account spend is going on the exact matches, right? It should be other way around. We are not spending that much amount of money in broad, we are not spending that much amount of money in phrase, right? So we really need to shift the spend share from exact match towards broad and phrase. You guys might think, what is the reason for that, right? Because mostly exact campaigns get us most rankings. Exact campaigns have the highest conversion rates, and all that. But the thing is, exact campaigns are not discovery campaigns, right? They're basically more of a ranking campaigns. So uh, I mean, if the account is mature, if the product is mature, we need to spend more towards our broad match and phrase match, right? So we could harvest more and more keywords by the time. And if you just look at the spend share and sale share, we are spending 10%, 11% of our account spend on broad match, and we are making around 15%, right? If you just look at the ACOS and you compare the ACOS of exact and broad, you will see that our ACOS in exact match is 29%, 29.6, and our ACOS in broad match is 20.9%, right? 21%. If you look at the conversion rate, there's no big difference in the conversion rate, right? But if you look at the CPA, you will see that there is a massive difference, right?
Yeah.
Our CPA in exact matches 220, our CPA in broad matches 167. So we are generating orders more quickly than uh, as compared to the exact match, right?
Yeah, I think Afan, that makes sense, right? Because even you and Mr. Sadi were discussing the same, because how the change or shift happened from exact to broad and phrase. And now we are also seeing, again, if we just recall back, it again comes from those old concepts where people used to talk about how they use exact match for ranking, right? And obviously that is good for ranking, but comes with a cost as well, right? It is very expensive, and to hold the rank for those exact phrases is very hard right now because the competition is huge. Instead, now if we just look at phrase and broad, that are much cheaper for us to get more better conversion rate. And even if we talk about broad match modifier, right? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so I think that is the same thing happening for this account. Exact Match is spending so high and they are doing so huge volume. They're spending almost close to 30 lakhs a month and doing 3 to 4 CR a month in revenue. But
Yeah.
maximum spend is going towards Exact, which is obviously alarming because they could allocate that spend towards which is better converting with less CPA, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And also to add to it, sponsored brand, they're spending way too much. 40% of the spend is going towards sponsored brand, and the return on that is very poor. We can see the sponsored brand, the sales share is less than spend share for every category. uh,
Yeah.
so they're spending way too much in order to acquire a customer. And sponsored brand is more for the awareness and consideration and to be visibly present, to reach to more customers. But I think they've spent way too much. If they had spent that much onto their sponsored product,
Yeah.
or maybe they could have increased their sponsored display as well. This display itself is like less than 2% spend, so they should also be spending more. So whatever budget is being given to sponsored brand, they should slash that and slowly take that and give it to display and more to the product for broad and phrase.
Yeah, I think 40% spend in sponsored brand is very, very high, especially if we consider that this kind of product or this product range has very less or close to zero repeat purchase, right? We are going to look over the repeat purchase ratio as well. So I think that needs to be controlled a lot. Yeah, over to you, Afan.
Yeah. I mean, for PPC, it's just not like you are spending and you are getting orders, right? You have to
Yeah,
do proper budget allocation across the board. I mean, I'm not just talking about the sponsored products, right? You have to uh, consider what amount of money, what amount of budget, what percentage of budget you need to spend on sponsored product, what percentage you need to spend on sponsored brands. Just like Mr. Sandeep has discussed, they are spending around 40% of their accounts budget on sponsored brand. It should not be like this, right? In the sponsored
definitely.
display, ad types are just being ignored, right? They're not even utilizing the
Mhm.
third ad type, right? The VCPM campaigns, the reach campaigns, right? So yeah, I mean, the budget allocation should be even, or not even. If not even, it should be at least reasonable or considerable across the board.
Yeah.
I think with that we can move towards the next sheet, that is sponsored product placements. In this sheet, we will be looking at our three placements: top of search,
Can you
product
zoom it
pages.
a little bit?
Is
Yeah.
it okay now? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, in this sheet, we will be looking at our uh, placements, the three placements Amazon has: top of search, product pages, and rest of search. Uh, Again, what takeaways we can have from this report is the CPA of each placement, the click-through rate, the conversion rate, ACOS, number of units, number of orders, and sales, spend, clicks, and impressions, right? So if you look at the data, first of all, right. So the thing is, the first metric that we can look is the ACOS, the conversion rate, right? You can see that we are having the lowest ACOS on rest of search, and then it is the top of search, right? They are both almost equal, right? The highest ACOS that we are getting is on PDPs, but if you look at the conversion rate of PDPs is the lowest. It is bound to be the lowest, right? So on top of search, we are getting a 12% uh, conversion rate, and on rest of search, it is 6.8%, right? And there's a huge difference in the click-through rate, right? If you look at the CPA, the cost per acquisition, you will see that it is almost equal in top of search and rest of search, but it's almost double in the product pages. Now, let me just, I mean, now let's just come to the bad part. If you look at the total clicks, no, if you look at the clicks on top of search, and then you look at the number of clicks they have on product pages, they have almost equal amount of clicks, right? I mean, it's alarming. Equal amount of clicks on top
Yeah.
of search and the product pages. I mean,
Hmm.
it shouldn't be like this. It's telling me that either the brand owner or the guys who were managing it, I mean, they don't, sorry to say, but they don't have a clear idea about PPC. They don't know which placements to prefer, which placements not to prefer. They don't know which placements would be, the most beneficial for them. I mean, even if we are targeting a keyword in broad or phrase, we, I mean, look out for this thing that they're not, spending most of the money on the PDPs. I mean, it's always top of search or rest of search. Yes, if you're going, I mean, if you're having some low bid campaigns, low bid broad or low bid phrase campaigns, if you're running ASIN targeting campaigns, then it's understandable, right, that you are getting clicks on PDP. But again, the percentage, the ratio between the low bid campaigns and the regular ranking and discovery campaigns, or even the auto campaigns, the ratio of those low bid campaigns is usually very low, right? It's like we are running, I mean, we are spending 10% or 15% of our budget on the low bid campaign. It's never above that, right? So it shouldn't be like the click share ratio among these placements should never be like this, right? There should be a big difference. The product pages must have the lowest amount of click share. If we are, I mean, we can really say by looking at this data that what sort of campaigns that they're running. But ideally, the click share between, I mean, it doesn't matter what click share that we are getting between the top of search or the rest of search, right? It shouldn't be like this in the PDPs. So yep, I think there
Yeah, I think
was.
it also justifies the point where we were seeing that it is spending so much huge ad budget on sponsored brands. So whether we could have seen a better result if that would have been more equalized, and some amount of budget would also have been allocated toward display, because display we have seen with display as well as for sponsored brands as well as with VCPM, we can see there have been offering so many placement right now that could focus on rest of search and product detail page at much cheaper rates. And again, when you talked about low bid campaigns where we focus more on lower ACOS, that also I think is a point that needs to be optimized, right?
Yeah, yep. uh, I think with that we can move to the next sheet. So this template is, I mean, it belongs to Mansoor Norozi of Incrementum Digital. Uh, so what this report tells us, we don't really use it that much. But again, if we are looking at, if we are conducting an in-depth PPC analysis, this report comes handy, right? Uh, Again, we have all the search terms in column F, if you can see in the picture, right? And in column B, C, D, and E, you can just look at whether we are targeting this keyword in exact match type or phrase match type or broad match type, right? So I think it's an important report as well. It tells you that whether you are targeting, your main keyword in the required match types or not, right? Like if you just look at the first keyword, you can see that it has the highest amount of clicks and orders on it. But I mean, it's being running in 4 exec campaigns and 1 phrase campaign, but not in a single broad campaign, right? It should be the other way around. There should only be 1 exec campaigns. There should be at least, I mean, 2 phrase campaigns or at least 3, broad campaigns, in which one of those broad campaigns will be a low bid broad campaign, right? Or from these 2 phrase campaigns, one of the phrase campaign should be a low bid phrase campaign, right? So this is how it should be. The next report is the search query performance report. Again, we get this report from Amazon, brand analytics, search query performance. This report is basically on a brand level right now, right? So, I mean, it gives us all of the keywords that we have for that particular brand. All of the keywords in which we are generating impressions, in which we are getting impressions or clicks or even add to carts purchases. Again, there are a lot of columns in this report, right? But we just need to include the relevant columns, the ones that we need to look at, and we can just ignore some other columns. So the column that you're looking at right now are the basic columns, right? The foundation that you have to look at if you're looking at a search query performance report.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
in the first columns, we do have our keywords. Then we have the search query volume. Then we have total impression count. Then we have the brand share, right? What percentage of shares are we getting out of these total impressions of on this particular keyword, right? Then we have the click rate. The click rate is it's 30% of the total impressions, right? And out of those 30% impressions that have been converted into clicks, we are getting around 0.55% of clicks. With the add to carts, out of these 30% of this amount that are the clicks, basically the total add to carts are 7.73%, right? And out of those 7.73% clicks, we are generating about 0.5% add to carts, right? We are securing about 0.5% of add to carts. Out of these 7.73% add to carts, the total brand purchase is around 0.77, right? And out of these 0.77, we are generating around 0.3% of the purchases. It this is how you can I would say you can explain what is going on in a search query performance report, right? What how this report comes in handy, you have to it's more like a monthly tracking report. What you can do is, this is the data, for example, for January, right? uh, let's consider it's for January 24. You can do it for you can in February, you will be creating this report for January, and in March you can add the February's data, right? For each of the, you will have to put some uh, Google Sheet functions in this, try to bring on the data of these columns for each particular keyword, and then uh, you can just compare your performance on each particular keyword as compared to the previous month or either the previous quarter, right? You can do it quarterly, you can
Mhm.
do it monthly, you can even do it weekly. So I think it's a great report that tells you that is your performance declining on a particular keyword, or it's is it inclining, right? So this is what this report tells us. It can also, if we take the historical data, it can also give us a trend of basically our performance. What we can do is we can just as you can see, I'm just applying a filter. So let's suppose as I mentioned earlier, this report right now has all the keywords of our brand on which we are getting impressions, right? And now
Mhm.
I'm just filtering out the keywords that belong to a particular product, right? So now the data is filtered, it is sorted, and all the keywords that we have right now, the total of 152 keywords, they belong to a single product, right? We can suppose
Okay, just
it's
for example here, yeah, let's take example of a keyword water bottle. Okay, so here
yeah.
what we are doing is we are taking a filter water bottle, and now what this filter does is it shows all the long tail keywords linked with that prefix water bottle. So it will show us all 3 word, 4 word, 5 word long tail keywords where water bottle must be there as the main keyword. It might be water bottle for 5 year old, water bottle for 6 year old, stainless steel water bottle. So it is going to share us all those search terms which are linked with that term water bottle, which is our product.
Once you have filtered out the keywords, you can sort it search query volume high to low, and then you have all of your most important keywords, I would say, sorted, and you can just look at the trends, right? For example, for a month of I mean for the month of November or October, our brand share percentage was 1.3. For November it becomes 1.4. For December it becomes 1.5, right? You can just add a function here, and you can just look at the trend, right? uh, Let me just do it this way. Yeah. So this is how it is. So for October, just by looking at this, I can know that okay, it was good for a month, and then it declined in the month of
Mhm.
November, and then again it has a spike in the month of December, right? So this is how we can look at the trend of our own performance in each particular month, right? So
I'd like to add something here. So what we see in a white background, impression and clicks, divide into one category, and then the colored yellow and the blue is the other category. If you want to improve your search query performance data, so see, it's all about improving first the impressions, and then focusing on the clicks, and then focusing on the add to cart, and then the purchases. For us to improve the impressions, what we need to look at is have a kick-ass SEO. SEO is very important so that we are indexed for more and more keywords. And then second is the PPC, that we are able to do a justified PPC. We are targeting all the relevant keywords. We are doing proper keyword targeting, product targeting, auto, everything that we can do so that our impressions can increase. So SEO and the PPC will help us to increase the impressions, and then the same will be continued in the clicks as well. It's just that the main image, maybe the coupon deals, discount, a little bit of a pricing can come into handy to improve the clicks. And once we have improved the impression and we have improved the clicks, then we can move on to improve the cart ads as well as the purchases, which is solely dependent on the conversion rate. How good are we able to convert there? The way we have drafted our listing, whoever we're targeting, the images that we have used, again the pricing, deals and discount, reviews, fulfillment, all of these things will come handy. If we improve on those aspects, then we can improve the other two aspects of which is based on conversion. So first two are more of a traffic elements. The other two columns that we have is the conversion column. So anything that we want to improve, we have to be very clear what is the driving force which is going to help me increase the particular item out of these four that we are looking at, which is the ICAP funnel.
yep. So yeah, so I think with that we can move towards the next and our last sheet, that is repeat purchase behavior. Again, uh, it's basically a trend. It's based on the historical data. Uh, in the first row, we have the total orders for each particular month, and in the second row, we have the repeated orders, right, for each particular month. Uh, Again, we can see the trend that for May, from May to June, there was an increase in the repeated orders, but then they kept on declining, right? uh, as compared to the total orders. Uh, from May to June, the total orders declined, and then the total orders, uh, had a spike. It's telling us either the brand, you know, it had spent enormous amount of money on its PPC, that the repeated orders just went down, or
Mhm.
because the total orders have increased, right, as compared to the previous months. So, and the repeated orders have not increased to that extent, right?
Afan, I think you
But
can zoom a little bit here. Yeah.
okay. So the total orders have increased in the month of July as compared to previous months, but again it kept on declining, with a decline of in the repeated orders. But in the month of October, we can see that are repeated orders again inclined. So there are a lot of factors affecting this percentage, right? As there are a lot of factors that are affecting this percentage. So it's very hard, or it's very critical to create a correlation between both of these trends. But I think if we connect these with our monthly PPC data and monthly business reports data, monthly SQP analysis comparison, uh, it should be very clear for us. So yeah, I think that was it from my side.
Yeah, Mr.
So
Sandeep, would you like to
this
add something?
particular graph, yeah, this graph particularly, this sheet particularly is very helpful when again we have a repeat purchase kind of a product like tea or supplements or something like that. Then this can be very handy, which can give us a very clear indication of our repeat orders as compared to our total orders. But in this case, this particular product is something like a water bottle or a kind of products which is once bought, very unlikely for a customer to come back and buy another product, same product or the another product from the brand. So that is why it is not very relevant here. However, we do this analysis just in case to understand if there is any trend available there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a great explanation. Now, for those who are watching, if you want to create this report for you, uh, we are linking our blog that is updated in our website, and you can check out that blog and prepare this exact report sheet by sheet, how which reports to download from advertising console, from business report, and you can prepare this report for yourself. If you're a brand doing more than 30 lakhs a month, or maybe doing $50,000 or more a month, and you want us to do a free audit of your account, you can definitely sign up below. There will be a link, and we'll try to bring on this kind of episodes more and more as much as possible. Also, make sure you suggest a topic in which you want us to make more PPC roundtable videos. Once again, thank you, Afan. Thank you, Sandeep, for joining this call. I think this was an awesome episode.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks. Like and subscribe. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Take care, guys.